pouring down rain today, and it was sort of drizzling, but now it's like really raining. I don't know if that's gonna be too loud for you guys. I just wanted to have this little sit down with you guys because we went on our first trip, and the whole point of that trip was to learn along the way, and we sure did. We learned some things, and I just wanted to share them with you in case you are planning on doing any kind of travel like this, so you can learn from our mistakes and not have to learn the hard way like we did. And we definitely did that. So if you haven't seen our vlog of our trip to Hot Springs, definitely check that out. There's quite the story in there of a few things we did wrong, or in case you're just interested in our failures and future preparations, I guess. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get right into it. The first thing we really learned was to have a little checklist of things that we make sure we have done before we drive away. And so the first thing on that list is to make sure the RV is not plugged in our garage. So I found our rollout list. Of course, the first thing is unplug power, since that's the thing we struggled with. Unhook hose. Lock all of the outside bins, so there's lots of outside storage, and just having those locked is a good idea. And that's another way to check that you're unhooked from everything, because those lock up as well. Close all vents, so there's 2 vents in the ceiling. Check the oven. Oh yeah, so you should go back and watch that vlog. It's good to just make sure the oven's not on. Yeah, so also in that category is to repack the dishes. So I'll open up the cupboard, make sure everything is packed in a way that it's not going to click together and break and make a bunch of noise. And then we've got to make sure the water heater is off and close all of the windows. So that's pretty simple, and it seems simple, but if you're not thinking about any one of these things, you can be in a really weird situation. So yeah, definitely recommend making yourself a list like this. Those are things that we have on ours, and I'm sure ours will change and evolve over time as we travel more, but have a literal list. It can be on your phone. I'm a paper person sometimes, but just a checklist that you run through. So I grab this before we drive away, and I read it off to Casey. I say, unplug power, and he says, yeah. Unhook hose? Yeah, okay. And so we go down the whole thing. That way we know we're good to go. We can double check each other. I think that's helpful. So that's the first thing, and probably the most important thing. So the second thing that I learned is that in this size space, there are some smells. We had all of our shoes stored in the big wardrobe down the hall, and we went hiking like a ton. So we had smelly hiking shoes, all 3 of us. And they were all being stored in that closet, which was fine. But by the end of the trip, like the last day or 2, that was a very smelly bin. So I have some plans for tackling the smell situation. The first is I'm gonna get a spray air freshener to just be able to kind of like go, oh my gosh, that's terrible, let's make that go away. And then also just being more mindful of where we put smelly things. So I have not done a ton of work organizing the bins outside the basement storage. I always want to call it the garage, the basement. I was kind of waiting for Casey to make sure he had space for all his tools and stuff, but I think now it's time for me to figure that out, because I want to put the shoes, except for like your one pair of like slip it on and go to the gas station kind of shoes, I want our hiking shoes and stuff to all be in those under storage bins. The other thing that was kind of smelly, or could have been kind of smelly, was recycling. So I made a tuna sandwich on that trip, and I washed the cans of tuna out so well because I didn't want them to stink up the RV. But that was kind of a pain in the butt and a little bit unnecessary. If I had under storage for my recycling, I wouldn't have had to do that. So my other thing that I need to figure out is recycling storage under the RV, and possibly like longer term trash. So I have my little trash can under the sink, but if that fills up before we can get somewhere where there's a trash can, I'll need somewhere to put it, or if it gets smelly or something. So yeah, I need to figure out my trash and recycling under the RV.
Okay, so the current state of the RV's driving and handling is that it's terrible. And I was warned that about these workhorse chassis, that they just don't handle great, but there's a lot of suspension upgrades you can do to them. But if you notice, I don't know if you can tell, the rake here, the angle is super aggressively nose down, to the point where it looks okay in our driveway because the driveway kind of angles up, but when we were parked at the RV park on our first trip next to other RVs, it was obviously strange. I was watching some YouTube channels about doing suspension upgrades, and I finally caught a video of someone getting underneath one of these workhorse chassis on a Fleetwood RV and looking at the existing suspension and what they were going to upgrade, and I saw stuff that I didn't expect, and so it made me want to crawl under and check out our suspension. And let me show you what we found. So this is the front driver suspension system here. So two things. Number one, I had gotten under here and looked, but never from the back, only from the front. From the back, I can see that we actually do have shocks. Some of these motorhomes don't have shocks on the front and they get added aftermarket. But I can't tell because they have this, I guess, like a dust cover on them. It looks to be almost totally compressed. These gas cylinders are usually pretty big, the yellow part. What I found out and read about is that a lot of these came from the factory with airbag suspension. So there's an airbag that's inflated inside of that coil. And what do you see here? But I don't know if you can tell, there's a little air nozzle sticking out the bottom there. We're supposed to have airbags, but if you look in there, you can see daylight through the spring. The airbag has pinched, popped, and completely disintegrated over time on both sides. So our entire suspension up here, which two people have looked at, by the way, and said looks fine to me, the gas cylinders are totally compressed, and we're supposed to have airbags like at 90 psi that are completely blown out. That's why it handles like crap. So we're pretty excited there's actually something to do. And you can also see right here, this is a pretty good sign. It's called a bump stop. That is when the suspension travels to the point where the wheel or the tire is going to hit the inside, you know, basically where you want to limit the suspension compressing. The bump stop will hit the control arm top up here, or whatever this piece is. So that's what keeps that spring from over compressing too much. And that bump stop is not supposed to have that curve to it. It's just had the shit beat out of it because we only get about I don't know, looks like maybe an inch of suspension travel before that stop hits. So there's a lot of room for improvement under there. I'm optimistic that getting a few, not even upgrades at this point, just fixing what's there actually changes the handling and ride quality and even the stance of the front rake quite a bit for us. So I'm taking it to the shop.
Hi, we're dropping off the RV at, I don't know, some place that works on semi-trucks, which is crazy. Henry's recording for me. Yeah, apparently it's similar enough to a semi that this is where we bring it to get stuff done to the, you know, truck part of it.
How long do you think it'll take for us to get our RV back, Henry?
3 years.
3 years? Oh no. That would be terrible, right, Mom?
Yes, that would be terrible.
RV is dropped. Now we wait for the bill. Y'all want to see? Oh, autofocus. Y'all want to see what the suspension's supposed to look like? Well, like that. With airbags in the coilover springs and shocks that aren't completely compressed, and, you know, control arms that aren't resting on the bump stops. This ended up being a lot more work and a lot more problems than we thought. The control arm brackets on both ends were completely sheared off, so those had to be replaced. That caused the whole front to compress. It blew out the airbags. Those disintegrated and dry rotted, which caused the springs to overcompress. So those were irreparable, and that caused the shocks to collapse. So new shocks, new coilover springs, new airbags, and new control arm brackets. And it's a brand new front end suspension, and it handles way better. So this is one of those things that's like, you don't know what you don't know. But after you see it, it's pretty obvious how big of a difference that was. We'll get some before and after action here. Snap. You think the snapping worked? Oh wait, that doesn't work, Mom Butt.
What?
Oh well, we're gonna snap it to after. This is the after. I can't get my finger in front of it and snap it before.
Ah, we should be snapping all the time, just in case we do something different.
All right, I'm gonna destroy the suspension. Henry disappeared. We're childless.
Here's something I learned today because it's so rainy. If you're gonna be coming in and out at all, a rug to wipe your feet on is super nice.
So beyond just there being a big hole up here, one of the things that we learned is that we needed better navigation. So having just my phone sitting up here, it's a big space, there's a lot of light coming in, it's kind of far away. The way everything's structured, you're kind of far back from it, so it's hard to see where you're going. Plus we need an internet setup that is better than just the hotspot on my phone. So we're gonna go with the iPad for that. There was a cutout here in the dash where a big old tube TV used to sit, and we pulled that out. So I just boxed that in with a little bit of 1/2-inch plywood. It's super sturdy because this plywood's actually resting on a steel frame underneath the dash, so that's not going anywhere. And it just closed that hole up, and so when we're parked, we can put our portable power station up here. It's kind of heavy, but that'll be fine to hold it. And also, I used it to mount this ram mounts arm, which takes our iPad Air, which really makes this a pretty baller cockpit up front when driving. Yeah, so we get to, I can split screen my maps with my music. I've got this hooked up just to our portable Bluetooth speaker right now, because one day we'll upgrade maybe the head unit here where I could just Bluetooth in and use these speakers, but this is more than enough power for traveling. This is super sturdy, this ram mount's like, once you torque it down, it doesn't go anywhere. And these little ball and socket mounts are pretty cool. You just loosen this and it's movable, or you can pop the ball out. So what we may do is actually put more of those mounts around the interior, maybe one above the dinette, one above around the bed, so that we have different arms. We can just pick the iPad up and clip it into a different spot if we want to watch Netflix or something like that, like our sort of portable entertainment. Henry, what do you think went wrong on our first RV trip?
Roller shades.
We needed roller shades?
Oh yeah.
Okay, pull it down. All right. On our first trip, people could see in our windows, and my tits were falling around and stuff.
What were they doing?
The people or the you-know-whats? When it's dark in here and these
Yes.
lights are on, it's exposed.
That was it. At night, the
Closer.
way that I got privacy at night was to turn all of the lights off and then change really quickly and then turn them back on.
Or hang a towel over the
Or we had
bathroom
clipped
window.
a
We did that
towel.
once.
Yeah, so
Here, Liz,
now
Mr.
we
Monkey.
have privacy and darkness. I noticed that in
Maybe a little
the
bit like
campground.
They're not exactly like blackout, but they really do.
No, I didn't get blackout on purpose.
Yeah,
I got,
they cover a lot of light.
the medium. At campgrounds, there's lots of lights outside, and so, especially for Henry when he's going to bed, it's nice to be able to get it dark.
Nice job. Did it work?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got them all the way around, except for here because we need one more bracket.
I bought the wrong brackets.
But we have the shade.
And then pretend to draw something, to draw a map on your iPad.
You're gonna draw on the iPad?
Yeah.
Good luck. Okay, what else?
The beach.
The beach went wrong.
We
We
didn't.
didn't go to the beach.
Big mistake.
Well,
The moment is past.
I'm sorry.
Don't be so mopey, Mom.
I've ruined everything.
Let me get a
One
close up of
sentence.
this drama. Do you feel dramatic? I like your hat.
I'm gonna start wearing this.
Is everywhere you go?
I'm gonna wear it to Home Depot today.
You mean the hat or the whole getup?
The whole thing. Do you like it?
I like it.
I know you're chuckling at it inside, and I appreciate you holding that in.
I'm not
But
chuckling
it
at it.
looks really cute.
It's cool.
I'm right
It's
now.
very,
It's like, it's fall.
it's stylized. You kind of look like Zorro.
But I might sword you.
Exactly. Mom's wearing her Zorro hat to Home Depot.
It's a wool hat. It's like very seasonally appropriate.
I like it.
I know. I can tell. Since you keep commenting on
Let me
it.
get a close up on this drama. Henry, do you have some drama? Let's see it.
Not wearing a hat.
This is the solution to the bad smells. This is the short-term solution.
I was gonna
To
say,
like, oops, we made a bad smell.
Hey!
oops, I pooped.
Okay, and let me show you, come outside and I'll show you the long-term solution to the smell.
Long-term smell-lution. Don't touch the buttons, please.
This has been to keep our shoes in.
We're gonna keep them out there?
Yeah, except for one pair that's like your
I like that.
getting to this bin pair.
I wish I had known that before
Well, we didn't
I
have.
wore my boots inside and got it all muddy and f***ed up.
Well, no, I mean you have to wear shoes into the island.
Hey, your xylophone.
Yeah, one.
You can give it a play?
That is what we learned on our trip, our first RV trip, and I'm sure there will be lots more to share with you along the way. As I implement some of the little changes we're making, I will share with you how that happens, like our storage underneath and all that. And I'm excited to keep learning and sharing with you guys.